All right, let's talk about digital images. We use them constantly, every single day. But do you ever wonder what's really going on under the hood? Well, today we're going to find out. I mean, we are just swimming in digital images, on our phones, our computers, everywhere. But you've probably noticed, right? How some of them look absolutely perfect, crisp and clean, and others, well, they just don't. Okay, here's a classic example. You've definitely seen this. Why does a logo look absolutely perfect on a website, but the moment you try to print it on a t-shirt, it just turns into this blurry, blocky mess? It's super frustrating, right? Well, there's a very good reason for that, and that's exactly what we're going to get into.
So here's the big secret. The reason for that difference is that you're not just dealing with one type of digital image. Nope, you're actually dealing with two completely separate worlds, and each one has its own set of rules, its own strengths, and its own weaknesses.
So let's meet our two main players, bitmap, which you might also hear called raster, and vector. Now, at first glance, they can look exactly the same, but what's going on underneath, their actual DNA, is totally different. And you know, understanding this difference, that's the real key to getting digital graphics right. Okay, so take a look at these two headphones. They look pretty much identical, don't they? But watch this. See what happens when we zoom way in? The raster image starts to fall apart. You can see the little squares. Those are pixels. But the vector image, it stays perfectly sharp, perfectly smooth. Why? Because it's not made of pixels at all. It's built from pure math.
Okay, so let's dive into that first one, the one we're probably all more familiar with. Let's take a closer look at the world of bitmap images, otherwise known as the world of pixels. So what exactly is a bitmap image? Well, think of it like a giant piece of graph paper, or maybe a mosaic. It's basically a map of tiny little dots called pixels. We're talking thousands, sometimes millions of them. And each single one of those pixels is given a specific color. Put them all together and boom, you get the final picture.
And right there, that's both the strength and the weakness of pixels. They are amazing for photos, right? Because they can capture all those subtle shifts in color and light. You know, all your JPEGs, GIFs, and PNGs, those are all bitmap images. But here's the catch. That grid of pixels is set in stone. It's a fixed size. So when you try to make the image bigger, the computer has to guess what to put in the gaps, and that's where you get that blurry, pixelated look we all hate.
And really, photographs are the perfect example of a bitmapped image. Just think about how a camera works. The sensor inside is literally a grid that's capturing light and color for millions of individual spots. Pixels. And that is exactly how we get that rich, super detailed, photorealistic look that pixels are just so good at. So if you want to work with these pixel-based images, you need what's called a bitmap editor. And a really fantastic, super powerful one is GIMP. And you know what the best part is? It's totally free and open source. It's a huge favorite for photographers and digital artists for a reason. All right, so that's the world of pixels. Now, let's completely switch gears and check out a totally different way of doing things. It's time to take a little journey into the world of paths, the world of vector graphics.
Okay, so forget about grids and pixels for a minute. A vector image is built with math. Yes, seriously. It uses mathematical formulas to create points, lines, curves, and shapes. So instead of storing millions of colored dots, the computer just gets a set of instructions, something like draw a red circle, make it this big, and put it right here. It's not a picture of a circle, it's the recipe for a circle.
And this is the absolute superpower of vector graphics. Because the image is just a recipe, you can make it as big or as small as you want. You can scale it from a tiny icon on a web page to a massive billboard, and the computer just does the math again for the new size. The result? Absolutely zero loss of quality. The lines and curves stay perfectly sharp every single time. And that's why you see file types like SVG, which literally stands for Scalable Vector Graphics, being used so much. So with that kind of superpower, it's pretty obvious where vector images are going to shine, right? We're talking about logos, icons, illustrations, anything that needs to be resized. This is also why modern websites are packed with vector graphics. They load super fast, and they always look razor sharp, whether you're on a tiny phone or a giant monitor. Oh, and technical drawings too. They rely on vectors for that incredible precision. Now, when it comes to actually making these amazing, scalable graphics, the king of the castle is definitely Adobe Illustrator. It is the industry standard, the tool that the pros use for pretty much everything from designing logos to creating those complex vector illustrations you see all over the place.
Okay, so we've taken a tour of both worlds, pixels and paths. Now it's time for the big showdown. How do you decide which one you actually need for whatever it is you're working on?
This flower is a perfect way to see the difference. Look at the bitmap version. It's great at capturing those soft, subtle blends of color. It looks really realistic. But you know if we zoomed in, it would start to get blocky. Now look at the vector version. It's made of clean, distinct shapes. It really boils down to this choice. Do you need complex, photorealistic detail, or do you need perfect, infinite scalability?
So let's just break it down side by side. Structure, you've got pixels versus paths. Quality, when you resize, bitmap is lossy. It loses quality. Vector is lossless. It doesn't. File size is also a big one. Vector files are usually way smaller because storing a few math equations takes up a lot less space than storing info for millions of pixels. And the best use cases? It's pretty clear. Bitmap for photos, vector for logos and icons.
So how do you actually choose the right tool? It really comes down to just asking yourself 3 simple questions. First, what am I making? Is it a detailed photo or a clean, simple logo? Second, will I need to resize this thing? If the answer is yes, vector is almost always your best bet. And third, what's my budget? Because you've got amazing free options for both, like GIMP for bitmaps and a tool called Inkscape for vectors, and of course, the professional paid software we talked about.
And there you go. The secret language of digital images totally decoded. You now get the fundamental difference between these two types of graphics. So the only real question left is, now that you're in on the secret, which world are you going to create in next? Are you diving into the rich, detailed world of pixels, or the clean, infinitely scalable world of paths?